They look safe. They sound familiar. But what if the very foods you've trusted for decades were never safe to begin with in the United States today? Over 70% of processed foods contain additives linked to long-term health risks, yet they remain on store shelves. Why and what are we really putting into our bodies every time we open a box or pop a can? From boxed mac and cheese laced with petroleum-based dyes to frozen meatballs made from meat paste and chemical binders. The truth is not just unsettling, it's horrifying. That bright salad washed in chlorine, that syrup on your pancake, a bottle of sugar chemicals. These aren't isolated cases, they're common staples in millions of American homes. Have we unknowingly turned our kitchens into chemistry labs? Are the foods we feed our children every day slowly breaking us down from the inside out? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And today we will reveal 15 American foods that might look harmless but could be silently poisoning you. You'll never look at your pantry the same way again. Number 1. Boxed mac and cheese. It may look comforting. It may even remind you of simpler times. But that innocent-looking box of mac and cheese hiding in your pantry holds secrets so horrifying, you may never see it the same way again. Let's strip away the nostalgia and look at the harsh truth. That glowing orange powder? It's not real cheese, not even close. What you're sprinkling into your pot is a lab-engineered cocktail, loaded with artificial flavors, thickening agents, and synthetic chemicals designed to mimic the look and feel of real dairy. Yellow number 5 and yellow number 6 are not just colorants, but they're petroleum-based dyes. Yes, the same base used in road paint and industrial solvents is now inside your dinner bowl. How did we let this become acceptable? And it doesn't stop there. To keep that unnaturally smooth texture and unnervingly long shelf life, companies add sodium phosphate, a chemical also used in cleaning products, and silicon dioxide, commonly found in industrial sand. To stop clumping, what started as a comfort food has morphed into a science experiment, quietly eroding the line between food and fabrication. Even worse, actual dairy content in many boxed versions is shockingly minimal. What you're tasting isn't creamy cheddar, but a carefully crafted illusion. So the next time that nostalgic neon color stirs up childhood memories, ask yourself, are those memories worth trading for a mouthful of chemicals? Because once you know what's really inside, it's no longer just mac and cheese. It's a fluorescent warning sign that the food we trust might be poisoning us in plain sight. Number 2. Bagged pre-washed salad mixes. They look crisp, they sound healthy, and they promise the ultimate convenience. Just open the bag and pour it into a bowl. But beneath that crinkly layer of plastic lies a chilling truth. Those pre-washed greens may be far from clean and far from safe. Most Americans see bagged salads as a shortcut to wellness. But did you know that those leafy greens are not simply rinsed in water? In reality, they're typically bathed in a chlorine solution, the very same chemical used to disinfect public swimming pools. While it may kill bacteria, chlorine doesn't just disappear. Trace residues often remain on the leaves, and some medical professionals believe this can irritate the gut lining, especially in older adults with sensitive digestive systems, and the illusion of freshness. It's carefully engineered. Producers flush the bags with nitrogen and reduce the oxygen levels to slow spoilage, a process known as modified atmosphere packaging. It keeps the salad from wilting too quickly, but it also creates a deceptive appearance of vitality. That green might look vibrant, but it could already be days past its nutritional prime. Even more disturbing, food safety research has revealed that pathogens like Listeria monocytogenes can survive in these sealed environments, especially if the bags are stored improperly or kept too long. One misstep in temperature control and what looked like a healthy meal can turn into a silent health hazard waiting in your fridge. So the next time you toss that pre-washed mix into your cart, stop and ask yourself, are you buying convenience? Or are you swallowing a carefully packaged illusion because when fresh is only skin deep? The truth underneath could be something you never signed up to eat. Number 3. American cheese slices. It slides so smoothly out of its plastic wrap. It melts like a dream on a hot grilled sandwich. But that soft orange slice many Americans grew up trusting isn't really cheese at all. In fact, what you're unwrapping isn't even legally allowed to be called cheese, according to United States food regulations. It's a pasteurized processed cheese product, a name that should already set off alarm bells. Why? Because it doesn't contain enough real dairy to meet the legal standards of cheese. Instead, it's a lab-born blend of leftover cheese scraps, milk powder, food starches, whey protein, and a potent mix of emulsifying salts. These ingredients are ground together, reheated, chemically treated, and molded into the shape of cheese, not unlike how plastic is melted and poured into a mold. And that familiar orange hue, it doesn't come from aging or high-quality dairy. It's produced with food coloring, either annatto, a plant-based dye, or more disturbingly, synthetic dyes like yellow number 5 and yellow number 6, the same colorants that have raised health concerns in everything from soda to candy. The result is a dairy-like substance engineered not for nutrition, but for consistency, shelf stability, and that perfectly predictable melt. It's food chemistry at its most deceptive, a comforting lie wrapped in cellophane, designed to trick your eyes and your taste buds. So before you slap that slice on your next burger or melt it into your scrambled eggs, pause and ask, are you eating cheese or just a dairy-flavored illusion crafted by food scientists? Because the truth is, that slice doesn't come from a farm, it comes from a factory. Number 4, frozen processed meatballs. They sit neatly packed in plastic, promising a quick, hearty meal, just heat and serve. But behind the simplicity of frozen meatballs lies a factory-born horror story most Americans have no idea they're swallowing. What looks like a homestyle favorite is, in truth, one of the most artificially engineered meat products in your freezer. Let's start with the meat, if you can call it that. Many of these meatballs are made using what's known as mechanically separated meat. A pink, paste-like substance created by forcing the last shreds of muscle from animal bones under extreme pressure. It's not carved or cut, it's scraped, ground, and squeezed out like toothpaste. This unsettling base is then mixed with soy protein isolates, textured vegetable fillers, starch-laden breadcrumbs, and a cocktail of chemical binders designed to hold this Frankenstein mixture together. Because this meat has little to no natural flavor, manufacturers drown it in salt, artificial seasonings, and synthetic preservatives just to make it taste remotely edible. Why? Because it's not crafted for quality, it's designed for shelf life, shipping, and profit margins. Some of the cheapest versions contain far less than 100% meat, relying heavily on fillers and additives to stretch production and slash costs. The result, a product that mimics the shape of something homemade but is anything but. Each bite delivers not comfort, but a bite of reprocessed scraps dressed up with industrial flavor tricks. It's a culinary illusion, a dish pretending to be real food. So, the next time you pull a bag of frozen meatballs from the freezer and pop them in the oven, stop and think, are you serving your family a meal, or a chemical creation shaped like one? Number 5, flavored instant rice. It cooks in minutes, it smells like butter, cheese, or herbs. But that packet of flavored instant rice sitting in your pantry, it's not made in a kitchen. It's manufactured in a lab, carefully engineered, not carefully cooked. And once you learn how it's made, you may never look at a steaming bowl of rice the same way again. Let's begin with the so-called flavor. That little seasoning pouch is loaded with synthetic compounds that imitate real food. The buttery taste. There's no butter, the cheesy notes. Not even a speck of real cheese. What you're tasting is a chemical illusion, a formula crafted to fool your senses. It's packed with sodium-heavy powders, dehydrated oils, and artificial flavorings designed to survive long shelf lives, not nourish your body, and the list doesn't end there. To keep those powders flowing smoothly, manufacturers add anti-caking agents like silicon dioxide, the same substance used in glass and sand. Even more disturbing, preservatives like TBHQ, a petroleum derivative, are added to prevent spoilage. That's right, some of what's in your instant rice has more in common with motor oil than with food. Then there's the rice itself. It's pre-cooked and then dehydrated, a process that strips away most natural fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What remains is a hollowed-out starch vehicle, ready to absorb artificial flavor but devoid of real nutrition. But the most shocking revelation comes from a 2023 study in environmental science and technology. Instant rice contains up to 13 milligrams of microplastics per 100 grams, 3 times more than traditional rice. You're not just eating fake flavors, you're potentially consuming tiny plastic fragments with every bite. So the next time you reach for convenience, ask yourself, is saving a few minutes worth trading in your health for a spoonful of synthetic? Plastic-laced powder. Number 6. Canned chicken. It's marketed as a pantry essential quick, easy, and shelf-stable. Just pop the lid, drain the liquid, and dinner is ready. But before you trust the can of chicken to save your weeknight meal, there's something you need to know. What lies inside may be far more dangerous than convenient, and it all starts with the can itself. Many canned chicken products in the United States are still packaged in metal containers lined with bisphenol A, more commonly known as BPA. This synthetic chemical compound, used to create a plastic coating inside the can, has been linked in repeated studies to hormone disruption, reproductive damage, and even increased cancer risk, while some brands now advertise BPA-free packaging. A 2023 investigation by Consumer Reports revealed that several popular products still contain measurable amounts of BPA or its close chemical relatives with similar toxic effects. And the chicken, it's rarely high-quality meat. More often, it's lower-grade cuts that have been pre-cooked, shredded, and soaked in a salty, preservative-laden brine designed to keep the texture stable and the shelf life long. But that stability doesn't come from nature, it comes from chemical engineering. What you're tasting isn't freshness, it's manipulation. Worse yet, these cans can sit on shelves for years, and during that time, the BPA lining may leach into the meat, especially when exposed to heat during storage or transport. So what seems like a time-saving staple could be delivering a silent dose of hormone-altering chemicals straight into your body. Ask yourself, is opening that can worth the risk of long-term health consequences? Because what you think is preserved poultry might really be a slow, hidden threat disguised as dinner. Number 7. Canned beef stew. It looks rich, smells hearty, and promises the comfort of a slow-simmered meal in just minutes. But that warm, savory bowl of canned beef stew might be hiding more than just potatoes and carrots. It may be simmering with secrets your body never asked for. Let's start with the meat. It's not tender cuts or high-grade beef going into those cans. What you're eating are leftovers trimmings, sinew, and tough, undesirable pieces that couldn't be sold fresh. These scraps are stewed for hours, not for flavor, but to break down the rubbery texture so it feels edible. Then, the flavor is faked. The thick gravy. It's a mixture of salt, monosodium glutamate, and a cocktail of lab-engineered flavor boosters, all designed to trick your tongue into believing you're tasting something slow-cooked and wholesome. And that rich brown color, it's not from searing or careful cooking. It's caramel coloring, especially Class 3 and Class 4 types that give the illusion of long hours on the stove. But these colorings have come under scrutiny. Toxicology reviews show they can produce a chemical byproduct called 4-methylimidazole, a substance flagged by the state of California as a likely carcinogen. That rich hue may look inviting, but it could be hiding a long-term health risk. It gets worse. Canned beef stew often contains thickeners like modified cornstarch and gar gum, alongside a mix of preservatives to extend shelf life for years. These ingredients don't improve nutrition. They exist to protect profits. So before you crack open that can for a quick meal, ask yourself, is a few minutes of convenience worth feeding your body a stew of scraps, salt, chemicals, and coloring agents linked to cancer? Number 8. Frozen breakfast sandwiches. At first glance, it's everything you want in a busy morning: warm, quick, and familiar. A soft bun, a fluffy egg, a juicy sausage patty. But peel back the convenience, and what you find is a cold, industrial product engineered not to nourish you, but to survive the freezer and the microwave, over and over again. Let's start with the egg. In many frozen sandwiches, what's presented as a fluffy, home-cooked egg is really a liquid egg blend poured into molds and stabilized with chemical emulsifiers and thickeners. These additives don't exist for your benefit, they exist to keep the egg from collapsing, drying out, or falling apart during mass production and transport. Then there's the sausage, the heart of the sandwich, and often the most manipulated, packed with phosphate salts, artificial flavors, and binders. It's specifically formulated to retain its moisture no matter how many times it's frozen and thawed, but it comes at a cost both in taste and in health. According to data from the United States Department of Agriculture, one sandwich can contain between 700 and 1,000 milligrams of sodium, nearly half of what an adult should consume in an entire day. And what about the bread? It's often fortified with modified starches and chemical dough conditioners. In some cases, It even includes azotocarbonamide, a substance banned in several European countries due to potential respiratory and health risks. But here, it's still found in your breakfast bun, helping it stay soft after a microwave blast. This isn't a meal. It's a machine-tested formula wearing the disguise of comfort food. It holds its shape under pressure, but it also holds within it the quiet erosion of health, bite after bite, morning after morning. That's the real weight beneath the convenience. Number 9. Processed turkey deli slices. It looks lean, it tastes light, and it's long been the go-to protein for anyone trying to eat healthy. But those neatly stacked slices of turkey in your sandwich, they're not what they appear to be. Behind that smooth surface lies a carefully constructed imitation, more chemistry than carving. Most deli turkey is not cut from whole turkey breast. Instead, it's made from a slurry of turkey parts scraps. Fragments, mechanically separated remnants blended into a uniform mash. This meat paste is mixed with a brine loaded with salt, sugar, and preservatives, then molded into loaf-shaped blocks. After that, it's heat-formed and sliced into thin, clean-looking layers designed to resemble real meat. But it's not just texture that's engineered, it's the preservation. One of the key chemicals used is sodium phosphate. This additive helps the turkey retain moisture and enhances flavor, allowing it to sit in refrigerators for weeks without drying out. But the trade-off is steep. High phosphate intake has been linked in numerous studies to kidney damage, heart disease, and metabolic issues. A 2023 study in the journal Nutrients also found that phosphate-rich processed meats may contribute to elevated blood pressure and arterial stiffness, two major risk factors for cardiovascular decline. Then there's the salt and sugar. Both are added in excess, not for taste, but for preservation and visual appeal. The result, a product that may look clean and simple, but is, in fact, chemically constructed to last, not to heal. Processed turkey deli slices are an illusion of health in a plastic package. They offer convenience and consistency, yes, but at a potential cost to your long-term well-being. What seems like a smart lunch choice may be silently working against your heart, your kidneys, and your health. Number 10. Powdered mashed potatoes. They sit on the pantry shelf in tidy boxes, promising a hot, creamy side dish in mere minutes. But behind the warm, fluffy appearance of powdered mashed potatoes lies a truth that's anything but home-cooked. Yes, they technically begin with real potatoes, but everything that makes a potato wholesome gets stripped away almost immediately. The process begins with cooked potatoes that are aggressively dehydrated into flakes or granules. This industrial drying process wipes out the natural texture, taste, and a significant portion of the nutritional content. What's left behind is a base so hollow, it has to be rebuilt using lab-engineered ingredients to recreate the rich consistency people expect. Manufacturers rely on a complex cocktail of additives, preservatives to fend off spoilage, flavor boosters to simulate a buttery taste, and emulsifiers to keep everything smooth and uniform. One commonly used class of additives is mono and diglycerides, synthetic fats you'd never find in a home kitchen, designed to maintain a false creaminess. Then come the sulfites, added to prolong shelf life. But sulfites are not harmless. They are known to trigger allergic reactions in sensitive individuals, sometimes causing symptoms as serious as asthma attacks. The United States Food and Drug Administration mandates clear labeling when sulfites exceed certain levels, which should raise concern for any consumer paying attention. What you're left with is a pale imitation of a beloved dish. It may fool your taste buds for a moment, but it's not real food, it's a lab recreation of a memory. Powdered mashed potatoes are the kind of meal that looks warm and comforting, but underneath the surface is a formula you'd never recreate from scratch, because you wouldn't stock emulsifiers and sulfites in your spice rack unless your kitchen doubled as a chemistry lab. Number 11. Flavored instant oatmeal packets. They arrive in innocent little paper sleeves, promising a heartwarming, fiber-rich breakfast. The front of the box beams with claims like heart healthy and made with whole grain oats, but peel back the marketing, and what you find inside those flavored instant oatmeal packets is a far cry from wholesome. It's not breakfast, it's a processed dessert disguised as nutrition. Yes, oats are the base, but the health benefits of those oats are quickly drowned in a sea of additives and sugar. Many of these packets contain more added sugar than some candy bars. In fact, Nutrition watchdog reports from recent years have shown that certain household brands cram in over 12 grams of added sugar per serving. That's roughly 3 teaspoons in a single pouch. And this sugar isn't just from the shaker on your kitchen table. It often comes in the form of corn syrup solids and ultra-refined white sugar, added purely to manufacture flavor, not to nourish. And that sweet burst of apple or berry flavor, don't be fooled. In most cases, it's not coming from dried fruit, but from lab-engineered compounds designed to mimic the real thing. These artificial flavors create the illusion of fruit, but provide none of its vitamins, fiber, or natural antioxidants to keep the product shelf-stable for months. Manufacturers add thickeners, emulsifiers, and preservatives. It's a controlled recipe not crafted for freshness or health, but for storage and shipping. So when you stir that quick cooking blend into your morning bowl, you're not just eating oats, you're consuming a pre-mixed formula, designed for convenience, sweetened for addiction, and stabilized for shelf life, not for wellness. It's comfort food for the busy age, but it comforts the food industry more than your body. Number 12, instant cheese sauce mix. It may smell like cheddar and pour like velvet, but instant cheese sauce mix is not the cheesy comfort it pretends to be. Stir it into pasta or pour it over broccoli, and what you're really tasting isn't dairy, it's deception. At its core, this mix isn't built around cheese at all. Its primary ingredient, maltodextrin, a cheap, starchy filler derived from corn that adds body without nutrition, to mimic the rich, savory taste of real cheese. Manufacturers infuse this bland base with artificial cheese flavoring, powdered emulsifiers, and dehydrated vegetable oils. As for actual cheese, some mixes contain trace amounts, so minimal they add almost nothing in terms of real flavor or nutrients, to recreate that creamy consistency people crave. Food scientists turn to gums like xanthan gum or gar gum. These additives aren't something you'd find in grandma's kitchen. They're industrial thickeners, carefully calibrated to make the sauce glide off your spoon with just the right texture. And that signature yellow-orange hue, it doesn't come from aged cheddar or a golden roux. It's created with synthetic dyes like yellow number 6, a petroleum-derived coloring agent, so controversial it's been restricted or banned in several European Union countries due to potential links to behavioral issues and long-term health concerns. Worse still, these powder mixes are stabilized with chemical preservatives to keep them shelf-safe for months, sometimes years. This isn't a food that spoils naturally, it's a powder designed to resist time, built in a lab to simulate food but never truly be food. So the next time you're tempted by that quick and easy cheese sauce, remember real cheese doesn't come in a foil pouch or dissolve in boiling water. What you're tasting is a carefully masked imposter one that may coat your food in creaminess, but offers your body nothing but empty chemicals in return. Number 13, Shelfstable salsa. It's marketed as bold, zesty, and bursting with flavor. The label shows juicy tomatoes, fresh herbs, and crisp vegetables, but twist off the lid of that shelf-stable salsa, and what you're getting is a far cry from anything freshly chopped. This isn't salsa, it's a shelf-engineered sauce dressed up like something homemade, unlike the kind you'd make in your kitchen using sun-ripened tomatoes. Fresh cilantro. And chopped onions. Most jarred salsas are built on a base of tomato paste, thick, concentrated, and stripped of texture instead of whole produce. Manufacturers rely on dehydrated onion flakes and artificial flavor compounds to mimic the taste of fresh ingredients. But mimicry isn't authenticity. These components are carefully engineered not for taste, but for consistency, longevity, and profit, to create a uniform texture that pours smoothly and doesn't separate. Food companies add industrial thickener substances you won't find on a backyard cutting board. And to prevent spoilage, sodium benzoate is often used, a synthetic preservative approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration but rarely, if ever, found in a home-cooked meal. While legally acceptable, it's still a chemical compound built to halt the growth of bacteria, not to enhance flavor or nutrition. Then comes the final step: heat processing and vacuum sealing. This kills off microorganisms. Yes, but it also eliminates much of the natural flavor, brightness, and crispness that make real salsa so invigorating. What's left behind is a flat-tasting mixture that can sit unopened for up to 18 months. A salsa that doesn't spoil for over a year. That's not a sign of freshness, it's a warning. What was once a vibrant, garden fresh dip has become a pasteurized product of preservation and imitation. It may look like salsa, but it lives a life far removed from the garden and even farther from your kitchen table. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a like and make sure to subscribe. Your support truly matters. Click on the video now showing on your screen. We think you'll really enjoy it. Drop a comment below to tell us what topic you'd love to see next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to leave a like, share your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button for more eye-opening content.